Come on and praise His name. Come on and praise His name. Listen, how you on this special day, keeping yours in a special way. Yahuwah's house in our enemy's land to revoke the curse. Come on and praise His name. Come on and praise His name. Oh yeah. Listen, how you on this special day, keeping yours in a special way. Come on and praise His name. Come on and praise His name. Oh yeah. Listen, how you turn on this special day, keeping yours in a special way. All right, Baruch Shabbat, brothers and sisters. Prayerfully, you all had a great week. And I am winging it here today again by myself. This Shabbat, this time we're streaming live. My Isha had death in the family, so she won't be joining us. So she sends her prayers. She solicits your prayers for the family. And during this time, we have a lot to cover and in a short time. So I'm going to go ahead and open up in prayer and then we'll go forward from there. Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech haolam. Father, we thank and praise you and bless you for this blessed Shabbat that you've allowed us to see, give you praise and honor for all things. We come before your name, Yeshua HaMashiach, who came through 40 and 2 generations to enable us to be engrafted back into the olive tree, those of us that are of the remnant of the house of Israel. We pray that as we go forward this day to share today on this lesson during this critical time in history, as we reflect on the things that are happening in the land that you have chosen to put your name there. And it's our desire and our prayer for all those that are involved, the innocent lives that have been taken, those that have been violated, those that have been caught in the crossfire. We pray for every family that's represented. And we also pray that you enable a speedy recovery, a speedy return, so that all flesh that is going through unnecessary challenges in this time will be spared. We give you praise, we give you honor, in Yeshua HaMashiach, we say hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Torah Yah. Amen. 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 Brothers and sisters, let me greet you first before we get started on this Shabbat. I am a little bit I have a great anticipation, and a lot is happening so fast. And people ask questions about what's going on. I actually had someone who was a non-Israelite ask me, and I don't know why he decided to ask me, but he asked me about what are my thoughts about what's going on in the Middle East. I thought that was kind of interesting that I was asked that question. So I said, you know what? How would he know to ask me about my thoughts about the Middle East? So through all of that, the process of what's going on, I said, let me put something together. And I told him, I said, just came right out of the clear brew. I said, the things that's happening in the Middle East, I said, is all prophecy being fulfilled. I said, and I told him, I said, you do know the people that are there are not the people of Antiquities, right? And he asked me to elaborate on that. I said, so I started explaining to him, and he had no knowledge of what I was talking about, the historical dynamic of the land. So I said, well, if this person don't have any knowledge or clue of the historical dynamic, then I'm going to see, do I not have sound? Okay. Can you all hear me? Let's see, but let me just do this here. I think I have sound. Somebody said I don't have sound. I think I have sound. Okay, yes I do. Must be a delayed message. Okay. Now I lost my thought now. Somebody help me out. Let me go through my greetings first. So I just lost where I was going. It'll come back. Baruch Shabbat. Jason, good to see you, my brother. Torah Rabbah. for the love gift. Praise Yah. Andre, Bruce Shabbat, my brother, good to see you. Shabbat shalom to all. Okay. I did get your text message, so I haven't forgot about you. Just kind of been running around, and I didn't want to catch you on the run, so I wanted to give you some concentrated time. So I haven't forgot about you. Baruch Shabbat, Code Deanna, I did get your message, and you certainly have my prayers, and I want to see. This is your time. See, the sisters. Let me say something here while I'm here. The sisters, this is your time to come out, right? Moray, Josiah, Isha, Princess Leah, she did a beautiful job on the channel, on the Spirit of Yah YouTube channel, and so you all should go check it out. I mean, she came forth. This is the hour. The scripture said that in the last days that he would pour out his Spirit upon all flesh, right? And his sons and daughters would prophesy. Now, Paul might want to keep y'all pressed. But Yah said he going to pour his Spirit upon all sons and daughters, right? So go ahead and visit that channel. It's the Spirit of Yah YouTube channel. My good friend, best friend, Moray Josiah, and a Spirit of Yah down in Jacksonville. That's his YouTube channel. So go check it out. Support the sister as she shares what the Most I gave her to share. Baruch Shabbat, Lion Pride. Good to see you, my brother, on this blessed Shabbat day. Pray all is well with you and your household. Adaya, good to see you, my sister, and she says condolences to the family. Told Rabah for that. Andre said no sounds. Okay, so he got it back. Okay. Baruch Shabbat, Maury Irvin. Good to see you, my brother. Good talking to you. My best friend there in Kenosha. And let's see. We got, who's this? Antiquity, right? Okay, Lion Pride said his family also suffered loss. Cousin, okay, North Carolina. So certainly we send our condolences to you as well, my brother, and your family. Pray all is well. He said he used the wrong name. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. Andre said he used the wrong name. Brother Jason said the people in the Middle East, not the people of Antiquity. Okay. Yeah, so that's what the lesson is about. We're going to show you how we know that is true, right? And we're going to use their sources. So we're going to let the sources speak. Baruch Shabbat, a coach, you gotta get your new name now. A coach Kahanayah, gotta get your new YouTube channel name. Good to see you, my sister. Akima, Baruch Shabbat, Akima, good to see you, my brother. And right, Spirit of Yah YouTube channel. That's correct. Baruch Shabbat, my brother Tresky, and Coach Cynthia, all the Spirit of Yah down there. Y'all pray for my Cowboys. We got a bye this week, so we get a chance to get a little breather. All right, enough said. Now, I forgot what I was saying, and nobody kind of reminded me what it was. But basically, the lesson is about people were asking, and so many people are asking about, what's going on in the Middle East and so forth and all of that. And so we're basically going to go through. Now, brothers and sisters, I got 1,000 things in my head. I'm a historian, so I got books here. I'm going to show you some stuff I got here. This book here, right? See, because if you don't connect, let me say it like this, right? You can't accurately teach prophecy, right? If you don't connect prophecy with history, right? And this book here is called The Battle That Changed, the Battles, plural, that changed history, right? And this book it says key battles that decided the fate of nations, right? This is why they put stuff like this in a book, because they know Hebrews ain't going to read, right? So it wasn't until I started reading that I was like, wow. Because see, when the Most High, the greatest historical book that you could ever have in your library is what? Somebody take a crack at that. What's the greatest historical book that you could find in your library? Right? So this book here, I acquired this book some years ago. This book was copywritten in 2010, mind you, believe it or not. Okay? And this book will explain to you how, with this lesson we're talking about, I'm going to kind of try to reduce it to make it simple, because I can do a whole course on it. You'll be here for 60 credit hours. I'm going to reduce a whole college course in one lesson, in a 2-hour lesson. So this is one of the books. Some of the information in here is cross-referenced. That's right. As everybody said, the Bible. Said the Bible. That's the historical book, right? Here's another book I got. We cross-reference. This book here is called the Atlas of the Bible. Guess who the producer of this one is? Reader's Digest. How about that? Reader's Digest, right? The Atlas of the Bible, right? It says an illustrated guide to the Holy Land. How about that? Right? Now in the back of this, there is a I think it's in the back. Hold on. Is it in the back or is it in the front or in between? Okay, here it is right here. In this, and interesting, see, when they put this stuff in the book, they didn't expect us to read. This is a chronology right here. That's a chronology. And this goes, the chronology of biblical times. This got Egypt, Holy Land, Lower Mesopotamia, Upper Mesopotamia, Greece, and Rome, right? All of that is connected through, right, the scriptures, right? Now Daniel breaks all of the historical, this book here, The Battles That Changed the World, is a companion to Daniel's 70 weeks and Daniel's the vision that King Nebuchadnezzar had when he saw this great image, right? And the Most High gave the prophet Daniel the revelation to show him these battles, right, that changed history. As the book says, the battles that changed history, the battles that decided the fate of nations. So when you talk about the Mesopotamian kingdom of Sumer, what happened to them, right? The Bible talks about what happened to them, right? Okay, the Babylonians were conquered by the Syrians, right? Okay, I could give it to you all in one shot, right? I'm gonna give you a picture view of it so you can see it on screen, okay? So you got Babylonians, you got Medes, Persians, right? First you go from Babylonians to Assyrians, right? Because the Syrians had their part to play in the whole thing, right? Syrians, right? And then you had the Medes and Persians, right? The Medes, first you had the Persians and then you had the Medes, right? And then you had the Greeks, right? All these people had a part to do with the Holy Land, right in this book here, Reader's Digest, right? The graph I just showed you, right? You go from the Greeks to the Romans, right? Romans had their power, and then from there, in between the Romans and the 10 toes, you had the Arab conquest, right? So many people that are in the uh, so-called Middle East today, they're not descendants of Ishmael, right? You have two types of Arabs. You have Indo-Eurasian Arabs, and you have Afro-Asiatic Arabs, right? That's another lesson. We need to do a whole lesson on Arabs itself to explain. All Arabs are not the same. Arab just means mixed or Mongol people, a mixed people. It's like American terminology, mulatto, right? Arab is the main part, the historical part of the world's terminology for what this Western world calls mulattoes. Same thing, right? Arab just means mix or Mongol race, okay? Mulatto means Mongol race, right? Now, I'm giving you a lot. I know I'm giving a lot, and we haven't read yet. We're going to read today. I say this too, to those of you that are subscribed to people's channels, when people talk and say things, if they're not show you no receipts, just take it as cheap talk, because people can say things all the time, but if you don't provide any proof or any receipts for it, it's just you talking. It's just theory, right? And I can say things that I believe or think it don't make it right because I say it. If I can't provide receipts to prove to you that what I'm saying is documented, that somebody said it somewhere, so it must be right, right? So now, I got one other book I'm gonna share with you, right? I got this one from Brother Bowie. He used to read out of this, but he read out of it from one specific teaching, right? But this is another historical book. This is called The Last 2 Million Years, right? Can you see that? The Last 2 Million Years. In this book, this goes all the way back to what they call the Stone Age, right? Okay. Somebody said, brother, are you subscribing to cavemen and all of that? No. But I'm just saying, I have this book, and this book, I take the meat off the bone. See, we have to learn how to take the meat off the bones, right? Don't choke off the bone. There's truth in some false books. So when we hear a Moray says, I don't read the pseudepigrapha book because it's called false books, it's showing you that they have a limited knowledge, because there is some truth in falsehood. Some people lie and tell the truth in the midst of their lie. Like Hasatan. Didn't he tell the first man, woman, you know, you're going to be like me, right? You're going to be wise, right? Didn't it happen, right? The sense of Zoe. Weren't they wise? They knew, right? Okay. All right. So there's some truth in falsehood, right? You can come on down, honey. She's heading on now. All right. So that said, let me see. Okay. So we're going to go ahead in here. Let me do this real quick while I'm there. Since I mentioned that, right? Okay. Let's go to Daniel real quick, right? Let's see. This is not on my notes, so let's just kind of go here. All right. We're going to go to Daniel. Where do I want to go? Daniel 2. All right. Okay, hold on a second. Let me. I don't want to go the long route. Okay, Daniel 2, I think is that one. I want to go to the dream. Daniel interpreted the king Nebuchadnezzar's dream, right? Nebuchadnezzar's dream, right? Okay, let me see where I'm at. Just bear with me a second while I dig this out here real quick. Okay. Okay. Daniel. Okay, I'm getting there. Okay, Daniel. Was it Daniel 2? I said Daniel 2. Okay, no, let's go to Daniel 7, right? Okay, let's go to Daniel 7. I think that's where I want to be. Let's try that. Okay. Let's try Daniel 7. I think that's where I want to be. Daniel 7, verse 1. The first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. He wrote the dream, told the sum of the matters. Daniel spoke and said, I saw in my vision by night, behold, four wings of heaven strove. Okay, that's not the one I want. Okay, hold on for a second. That's Daniel's dream. Let me go back to, I think it was 2, I think it was. Okay. Daniel 2:1. It says, in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar's dreams wherewith the spirit was troubled, and his sleep broke from him. Then the king commanded to call the magicians and the astrologers and the sorcerers and the Chaldeans for to show the king his dream. So they came and stood before the king. Verse 3, and the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. Then spoke the Chaldeans to King Syriac, O king, live forever. Tell thy servants the dream, and we will show thee the interpretation. The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, this thing is gone from me. If you will not make known unto me the dream with the interpretation thereof, you shall be cut in pieces, and your houses shall be made dunghill. But if you shall show the dream and the interpretation thereof, you shall receive of me gifts and rewards and great honor. Therefore show me the dream and the interpretation thereof. They answered again and said, let the king tell his servants the dream, and he will show thee the interpretation of it. The king answered and said, I know of certainty that he would gain the time, because you see the thing is going from me. Now I want to skip down because I want to get to the dream. Okay, so let's go here, verse 17. Then Daniel went to his house and made the thing known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions, right? So who are they, right? They're Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They changed their names, but that's their native names. Now, just a little sidebar on going somewhere, on the way to going somewhere, is that it's a historical a fact that Israelites, whenever they went into captivity, the captors changed their names, right? So there's a parallel there. Think about that. What people do you know on the planet that went into captivity that lost their names? Not that they just picked names, because in our generation we've continued along with the same pattern, right? We've adopted names of our English captors, right? But back then, they made the people take the name of the captors, right? Okay. So that was a perpetual judgment on a people, right? Same as with slavery, right? Why would people think that in this modern time, in the 400 years, that, oh, slavery is something new that only happened to Africans, right? That type of slavery is a different type of slavery, because that is the slavery where the people were stripped of their identity and their culture, right? Okay, now let's go back in. Then was the secret, verse 19, revealed to Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the Elohim of heaven. Daniel answered and said, blessed be the name of Yah forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changed times and seasons, removed kings, and set up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise, and knowledge to them that know understanding. He revealed the deep secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwell in him. I thank and praise thee, O Yah, my Father, who has given me wisdom and might, and has made known to me the desire of thee. For thou hast now made known unto the king's matter. Right? Now, I'm trying to not make a lesson out of Daniel because I want to get to the point, right? So let's see. Where's the verse where he interprets the dream? Let me see. Let me go down here again. Okay, here's verse 31. Okay, here we go. Thou, O king, saw, and behold, a great image. The great image whose brightness was excellent stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image head was of fine gold, his breast and arms of silver, his belly and thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet partly iron and partly clay. Thou saw till the stone was cut out, hands which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and broke them to pieces. Then was the iron and clay, the brass and silver, the gold, broken to pieces together, and became like chaff of the summer. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. Bam. So the Most High showed the king Nebuchadnezzar the history, the whole history from his kingdom all the way to the return of the Mashiach and the kingdom age that we call the 1,000-year reign on earth, right? But your pastors got you wanting to go to heaven, right? Kingdom is going to be on the earth. Nobody's going to heaven. We got some Hebrews teaching people up in heaven now, right? They got big camps, but they teaching Christian doctrine now. You better get back into the precept, right? So Daniel interpreted the king's dream that the Most High gave to him to show him all the kingdoms of the world were going to be eventually overthrown, right? And that the kingdom of Israel, the children of Israel that would be scattered to the four corners would be regathered back, Deuteronomy 30, right? And the Most High said, I'm going to elevate them above all the nations, right? And the people are going to know that those are the people of the book. You so-called Negroes, they telling you that you just always been a slave and you America was your friend. They brought you here, cleaned you up and gave you a new way of living, gave you a better life. You've been lied to, right? This thing is about you, right? This thing is about a covenant that your people made, right? We're going to read some stuff today. I'm just getting my feet wet. All right, now. So Daniel interpreted the king's dream that the Most High gave to him, right? To show him the future of the world. Called what? The battles that change history, right? All right, now. We're gonna break it down. All right, go to verse 36. Now we're gonna show you how that the history supports Israel, the people who would go into captivity and will become servants, right, to other people until the return of the one who came, who was rejected through 42 generations, who came 2,000 years ago, right? Because his mission and goal was to regather the scattered sheep to place them back in the place of the kingdom where they would dominate the world and teach the world the ways of Yah. But Israel got caught up with religion just like we do today, right? The Most High empowered us to dominate, not to be religious. Thank you. He empowered us to dominate the world, to make the world like it is in heaven, so we can have the wealth and the riches of the world, right? That's the Gentiles got that now. Romans 11, Paul talks about that. Because of our disobedience, the riches of the world has gone to the Gentiles, but now the Gentiles have gotten greedy. And the reason why wars is going on is because, why? Because the people that the Most High gave it to broke the covenant. We're going to read that today. All right. Now, let's interpret Daniel's dream, and then we're going to connect the dots. We're going to prove to you that the people that's in the land today, called the Middle East, are not the people of antiquity or the original people. Okay? Let's go back in. Then was the, okay, wait a minute, verse 36, pardon me. Ooh, getting excited here. Then, this is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king, right? Thou, O king, art king of kings, right? So who's he talking about? He's talking about King Nebuchadnezzar, right? He said, thou art king of kings, little k, right? For Yah of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and esteem, or kabod. Now, I want to drop something in on you right quick, right? All right. Now, the same kingdom, watch this now, that Abraham came from, right, is the same kingdom, watch this now, you better listen, that the children of Israel, remember, the Most High told Abraham, get out from your kindred, right? And I'm going to send you to a land, right, that flows with milk and honey, right? Because why? His father, Abraham's father was Nimrod's son-in-law, right? Abraham's mother was Nimrod's daughter, right? And we can read that in the Jew a Negro, a book called The Jew a Negro, right? Okay. Now, so Abraham served Yah in the land of his fathers, who was idolizing idols, worshiping idols, his father. Most High told him, get out the land, and I'm going to send you to a land that flows with milk and honey, right? Okay. So now, long story short, Abraham goes out of that land to a land promised to him with another people that's already there that are pagans, called Canaanites. Now, so Abraham, now in the same land that Abraham taught his son Isaac and Jacob and the 12 tribes, right? The 12 tribes before they went into captivity, they got off into disobeying the commandments right then, right? And they went into Egypt captivity, right? Okay. Now, after we come out of Egypt, we give you history, bringing it all together, right? Go into the land of promise, right? Get in there. The kings come along the scene. Then the kings start doing the same thing, especially King Salomo. He was the originator of it, right? He goes and does the same thing, making idols. If you go to 1 Kings chapter 11, you'll see that, right? He makes idols, worships idols and all of that. And then he goes and the Most High judges him, says, I'm going to judge this land, right? Okay. So because we forsook Yah, the judgment came on the land, right? So now what's going on in Israel right now is judgment is on the land, right? Until the Messiah returns, it's going to be judgment on the land. All right. Until Israel is home ruling, not home just living there, because we got some Israelites that live there. We're back. When Israel is home and ruling, that's when it's a whole nother ball game, right? That's when it's all over, right? So we can go back, but we still captivity in our own land. Somebody didn't like that. So now, Israel broke the covenant, and now the same captive religion that was in Babylon was now at the height in Israel, right? So the Babylonian king, where Abraham came from, had now shifted and ruled the land of promise. Through the offices of King Shalomo, brought all of the religion, the pagan deities of Babylon into Jerusalem. See that? All right. Now, so the king of Babylon, right, was the king that the Most High placed in the land, right? Let's go back in. All right. So he says, O King of kings, for Yah of heaven have given you a kingdom, power, strength, and kabod. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, right? The beasts of the field and the fowls of heaven have he given into thine hand, and have made thee ruler over all of them. Thou art this head of gold, right? Now, remember, right? Y'all got to follow Daniel, because what happened later on? The king got elevated, right? So, oh, this is great Babylon. The Most High used a pagan king, right, to set order in a land to a people who he sent there to be the rulers of the land, right? But he got uplifted with pride, right? Kind of operated in white power, the predecessor of white power, except it was called black power then. So he wrote, the handwriting came on the wall, your kingdom is taken from you, right? Okay, now, that's all in the book of Daniel, right? You need to read the book of Daniel to get all that, right? Right, when the handwriting on the wall told him your kingdom was taken from you, given to the Medes and Persians. Okay, now let's get back in. So let's follow through. Whereas the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field, the fowl of heaven have given into your hand and have made you ruler over all them. Thou art this head of gold. Watch this now, verse 39. And after thee shall rise another kingdom inferior to thee, and a third kingdom, brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth, right? And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdue all things. And as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou saw the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, right? So we have what? We have the division of what? West Rome and East Rome, right? The papal kingdom, right? What they call Byzantine and Holy Roman Catholic Empire. Oh, this is history, right? The Most High just opened it all up to him, right? Let's continue now. So he said, so as much as you see, right, it shall feet and toes, part potter's clay, part iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of strength of iron, for as much as thou saw the iron mixed with miry clay, which is what? The united kingdoms of the Angles and the Saxons. See, he just spreads it all out and gives you the history all in one shot, right? Let's continue. And the toes of the feet were part iron, part clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou saw the iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. Bam! There goes the slave trade, right? Because what did the slave masters do? First, it was the Arab slave trade. Then you come into the African slave trade, right? Okay, so you got all this mixing of the seed, right? All prophecy being fulfilled all in one book. Let's continue. All right. So it says, in the days of these kings, right? Verse 44, shall Yah of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, right? So that's what we're looking forward to. We're looking forward to that kingdom to be set up on the earth, not up in heaven, on the earth, right? So in order for Yah to bring the kingdom to pass, first, his people, the remnant, have got to waken up. That's what we got, the woke, right? We're waking up. And as we wake up, the same thing is happening. Yah is cleaning out the land at the same time we're waking up. Because why? There's coming a battle that's going to clean out the land, right? So what we're seeing now is precursors to the remnant of the house of Israel returning to the covenant, because why? Nature can sense the time. Nature can sense time. Nature can sense when things is happening, right? So while Israel's waking up, we are causing chaos. Oh my goodness. Because Israel's waking up, that's why we have tsunamis. That's why we have hurricanes. That's why we have earthquakes and all these things happening. Why? Because the remnant is waking up. Because why? The nature, the elements is saying, is it time yet to bring them home? We about to go home, brothers and sisters. We about to go home. Woo! Y'all better wake up and see this thing. Them Christian apologists can't stop this. This is prophecy. You can get mad and try to call us a cult and all of that. You know what? We at the stage of the game now, we don't even fight people calling us cults no more. We just tell the people prophecy, what's happening around the world, right? You want to find out what's happening in the world? Find a Hebrew Israelite that know this book and listen to him, and you'll see what's happening in the world. All right, let's get back in now. So he says, for as much as thou saw the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, the gold, the great Yah hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. In other words, history, right? History of what? The battles that change, right? History. Okay. All right. The Atlas of the Bible confirms the history that's in this book, the last 2 million years, as well as other books, right? Because it's all coming together, right? History has been laid out. The people have told the history that confirms the Bible. So somebody says, I don't believe in the Bible, right? Tell me, how did they know that? How did they know this history is going to happen? Okay? Now, so let's go back in. And the silver and the gold, great Elohim, have made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation is thereof is sure, right? So, what? The proof is in the pudding, right? So now, we all know, without going through a whole big dissertation, that Abraham was promised a land, right? Moses said, what? We'll give you a land. Let me see if I can pull up my, I have a PowerPoint here to see if I can pull it up real quick. And the Moses made some promises to Abraham, right? Okay, let's do this here. I'm kind of trying to slow down a little bit because I'm excited. So, all right, let's go and look at this here. Okay. So this lesson is entitled Proof Today's Middle Eastern Population Are Not the People of Antiquity, right? And by the sons and daughters of the covenant of Yah. That means you. So you're doing this lesson. I'm just the one presenting it, but you're doing this lesson, right? So now we're going to show you, prove that the people in the Middle Eastern population are not the people of antiquities, right? All right, now let's continue. So it says, in this lesson, we're going to prove that the land now called the Middle East is run and controlled by the ruling class, i.e. the descendants of Japheth, right? Descendants of Japheth. I have Jeremiah 21:1 through 10, 21. We're going to read these a little later on, 22, 6 through 10, 1 Kings 9:16, Luke 21:24, right? Point 2, true descendants of Jacob are still being oppressed by the enemies of Yahuwah. We will investigate the many biblical passages and historical writings to prove this claim, Lamentations 2:9 and Deuteronomy 32:21. So those two we're going to read. Those two we're going to read at the end, okay? And lastly, hold on a second, I'm messing up here. And lastly, the future judgments on these nations, the enemies of Yahuwah, Psalm 88 rather, 3 through 9 of Tyre, Ezekiel 28:1, right? Now, so for all that said, so now let's follow through with my presentation here, right? So now, real quick, we already I mentioned this, but we're gonna go through it real quick, okay? So Abraham was promised land. Genesis 15:18 through 21 says, in the same day, Yah made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land from the river of Egypt unto the great river Euphrates, right? The Kenites, the Kenizzites, and the Kadamites, and the Hittites, Perizzites, Rephaites, and Amorites, and Canaanites, and Girgashites, and Jebusites, right? Now, who's missing in that, right? The Philistines, okay? So now, Philistines, let me just say this here, and I'll prove my point real quick. Philistines are not Canaanites. I thought they were, but they're not. A lot of religious circles try to say they don't know who the Philistines were, but we're going to show you who the Philistines were because the Bible tells you who they were, right? All right. So now, So what's missing there is you got Kenites, Kenizzites, Kadamites, Hittites, Perizzites, Rephaites, Amorites, Canaanites, Girgashites, and Jebusites. But the Philistines are missing, right? So to clarify some things, we're going to show you, because the bickering in Gaza Strip, those people there are called Palestinians, right? So now listen, those people that are there are not, let me say it this way. There are rations of the original Antiquity people, descendants that are there. But the people that's ruling, the ruling class, are not the Palestinians, original Philistines. Okay. Now, how we know? We're going to show it to you real quick. So let's go to Genesis chapter 10, Table of Nations, right? Genesis chapter 10, Table of Nations, right? All right, let's go there. Let's blow it up. All right, Genesis chapter 10. Let's skip down to Ham, the sons of Ham, verse 6. Sons of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, Phut, Canaan, right? So you got four sons. Cush, right? Mizraim, right? Phut, and Canaan. Cush, let me read it again. Cush, Mizraim, Phut, and Canaan, right? Now, Zondervan says Ham is the father of dark races of people, but now they want to renege and say, oh, that don't mean that. If Ham is the father of dark races of people, then that means all four of them are the progenitors of the dark races of people. Y'all ain't gonna talk to me. So who's Cush? Cush is Ethiopia, east and west, right? Now, I'm going to follow this thing, because we got to prove a whole lot. We got to make this thing clear so that even an elementary schooler can see this, right? All right, because I don't want to just talk, because I can talk is cheap, but I got to show it to you in the book, right? So let's go back in, right? All right, now Genesis 10, sons of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, Phut, and Canaan, right? All four of those are black sons of Ham, right? Let's continue. Cush, the sons of Cush are Seba, Havilah, Sapta, Ramah, Sapteca, and the sons of Ramah are Sheba and Dedan, right? Now, so all of that we can show you on the map. I'm trying to get straight to where I'm going, so just bear with me. So if I was to do a classroom and take a whole full day on this, I'll show you a pictographic map of those lands, right? Okay, there are maps that will show you those lands, right? Let's continue. Now, Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be the mighty one in the earth. So Cush had a son named Nimrod, right? Where was Nimrod's kingdom? We're telling you that Cush is Ethiopia, east and west, right? Now, check it out. Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be the mighty one on the earth. He was a mighty hunter before Yah. Wherefore it is said, even Nimrod, the mighty hunter before Yah. And the beginning of his kingdom was who? Babel, and who? Erech, and who? Akkad, and who? Calneh, in the land of who? Shinar. So that's the land where Abraham came from. So Abraham started out being a black man. Uh-oh, y'all ain't gonna talk to me now. Why? Because he came from southern Mesopotamia, where it's hot. Where all the people around him, according to one of my references, what is it, Babylon? It began in Babel. It began in Babel, where it talks about all the people in the south, right, were Abraham's kinsmen, and they were Negroes, he says in the book. What the man says in the book. This was an angry black man saying that, right? I'll give you the reference. Not now, I'll give it to you, but we reread it in a previous lesson. All right, let's continue. So his kingdom was Babel, Erech, Akkad, Calneh, and Shinar. Out of the land went Asher, Nineveh, Rehoboth, and Calah. So Asher, you got Assyrians, right? You got Assyrians and Ninevites and Rehoboth, right? Not Rehoboth Beach in Delaware. Right, you got Rehoboth and Calah. right? Racing between Nineveh and Calah, the same as a great city, right? Now, here's where the Philistines come from, right? All right, are you listening? You better be listening to me right now, writing all this down, right? Okay, I know I'm going fast, right? But I'm trying to get it in because I don't have a lot of time. All right, verse 11, verse 13. And Mizraim, right, whose name was changed. So just a little side note, Mizraim was changed by the Greeks to Egypt. Okay, that's why we say Mizraim, because Egypt was what. See, they even got colonized. They even got whitewashed and given them a Greek name, Egypt. But the land was called Mizraim, right? Upper and lower. Okay, let's continue. So Mizraim, we got Ludim, and Anamim, Lahabim, Naptuhim, and Pathushim, and Casluhim, underline this right here, out of whom came Philistine. How about that? And the Captorim. Woo! Y'all don't like me now. So the book tells us what? That the Palestinians, the Antiquity, the Palestinians who were originally, now Palestine, just for your reference, was the name that was given to Philistine by the Greeks. They Hellenized the name Philistine, right? Philistia, right? All right. So it says by Pathrusim and Calusim, out of Calusim came the Philistines, or the Philistines, and the Captorim, right? Now, then it goes to Canaan. So now you got Sidon, right? Canaan begat Sidon, right? And Heph. So these two, Sidon or Zidon and Heph, are Canaanites, but Philistim are Mizraimites. Okay? So now you got Mizraimites that are on the coast where Gaza is. That's the land of the Philistines. And then you have, next to that, you have the land of Zidon and Tyre, right? Okay? Canaanites, right? All right. So I know I gave you a lot, so let me give you a second to dive. Just get some water, drink some water real quick, because I know there was a lot, right? Okay, for those of you that been following us, you know that's not a lot. You know how we roll, right? Okay, we had to set that in fruition so we can now focus in on Philistines or Palestine, right? Now, we're going to show you that the people who are the ruling class are not I did my reverse, but I didn't upload it on my box. I want to go over to my reverse. They're not the people of antiquity. All right. Somebody said, prove it, brother. I'm waiting. All right. Now, let me go back to my spreadsheet. I got it all laid out. And I'm going to give you the reference too. All right. Now, let's go back here to my spreadsheet. So I had to go there because I had to point some things out so we can see on the way to where we're going, right? Let's go back in there. So the Most High said, from the land of, I'll give you this land from the river of Mizraim unto the great river Euphrates. Kenites, right? Kenizzites, Kadamites, Hittites, Perizzites, Rephaites, and Amorites, Canaanites, right? Girgasites and Jebusites, right? Right. Okay, now it says from the river of Mizraim to the river of Euphrates, right? So I have a map. Look at the map here real quick. All right. So this is from the river Euphrates. You'll see right here. Here's Ur of the Chaldees. This is where Abraham came from Ur of the Chaldees. He looked out over here, and the Most High said, all this land you see is going to be yours. So to the left of this, I don't know if you can see my mouse or not, But all of this here, he said, is going to be your land. From here, from the river Euphrates, right here, all the way over to the river of Egypt. So part of Egypt is part of the promised land. Uh-oh. So when Israel dwelt in Gershon, they were within the borders of the promised land in captivity. Y'all ain't gonna talk to me. All right. So that's the land that the Most High promised them right now. Let's go to another map here and show you on another map, right? Here we see here from the river Egypt to the great river Euphrates, right? Okay. So you see here, here's Babylon, right? Okay. There's an arrow. And here, see my arrow at the bottom here. This shows you all the way from Euphrates River, right, which is here, and all the way over to the river in Egypt. So everything on the east coast of Kemet or Mizraim, right, where this red circle is, Israelite territory. All this was promised land to Abraham and his seed after him. So the Hamites are not supposed to be in this land. None of that. That land was promised to Abraham's seed, right? All right. So you got up here, Haran, all the way up. Okay. Now, let's look at the next slide. So the land spreads from east Mizraim to west Babylon, including Saudi Arabian Peninsula, right? See this here? So this is the land, right, that the Most High promised, right? Now, it says the Euphrates River, it says, is the longest and one of the most historically important rivers of Western Asia. Together with the Tigris, it is one of the defining rivers of Mesopotamia, and the land between the rivers originating in Turkey, which is up north here where Armenia is, and it says, and the Euphrates flows through Syria and Iraq, where Syria and Iraq, so Syria and Iraq, okay, down here, and then it says joins the Tigris at Shat al-Arab, which empties into the Persian Gulf, which is here, right? So all of this land in the square, 4 squares, they say, right? That's the land that the Most High promised to Abraham's seed, right? But now Abraham's seed didn't get it. Didn't get it all, right? Okay, I don't know what that is there. I get just another map. What's this one here? Okay, here we go. No, I don't want to go there yet. It's too soon. Okay, so now I wanted you to see that. So Israel was promised all that land. So now, because Israel was promised this land, Israel, the first captivity was Assyrian captivity. Now, so we look at Assyria real quick, right? We're not going to spend a lot of time in it, right? So this map I showed you, it says Assyria, right? In 2 Kings chapter 17, the ninth year of Hoshea, king of Assyria, took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria and placed them in Halah and Habar by the river of Gozan and in the city of the Medes, right? So from that time, right, Israel, let me go to my timeline now. From that time, 721 BCE, Israel was conquered by the Sumerians, right? And they were replaced, right, by the people of the land of Babylon, right? Okay, so let's go to Kings chapter 7, 2 Kings chapter 17, right? And we're going to show you Kings chapter 17, and we're going to go down to where it says the king took the children of Israel out. This is verse 24, right? Okay. The king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, from Kuthath, from Ava, and from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities, underline this part right here, in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. And they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. See that? So the king of Assyria took them out, right? So the northern kingdom of Israel, right? All the tribes that was in the land, the king of Assyria took them out of the land. So now we got another people there. Are y'all following this story? Right? So now in northern kingdom, right, there's a people called Samaritans that live there, right? Why do they call them Samaritans? Because they were people that were citizens of Samaria. But those people that were Samaritans were Afro-Asiatic people. They were black. Okay, originally. Now, go back in. So it says, King of Assyria brought men from Babylon to Cuthah, from Ava and Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel, and they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. Right? Now, verse 25 says, and so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there that they feared not Yah. Therefore Yah sent lions among them, which slew some of them. Right? Verse 26. Wherefore they spoke to the king of Assyria, saying, the nations which you have removed and placed in the cities of Samaria know not the manner of the king of the land. Therefore he hath sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of the land. So what did the king of Assyria do? Watch this now. He says, the king of Assyria commanded, saying, carry there one of the priests. Underline one. Right? Underline one. Okay. He didn't bring all the sons of Aharon. He just brought one. Only one. Say only one. Only one. He brought one of the priests whom you brought from thence, and let them go and dwell there, and let them teach them the manner of Yah. Right? So these people called the Cuthah, Ava, Hamath, Sepharvaim, these were African Edenic people from Babylon who now were converted into following the covenant, which at this particular time is when they formulated a religion. Okay. They created the Talmuds and so forth later on. Okay, now, so he brought one priest in, and they taught them the manner of the Elohim of the land. Okay, now, then one of the priests whom we carried away from Shimron or Samaria is actually Shimron, that's how you say it in the ancient tongue, came and dwelt in Bethel, and taught them how they should fear Yah. Verse 29. Howbeit, watch this now, every nation, say it again, every nation, right? Every nation made deities of their own. So what? So we have other nations. Other nations that are in the land, that are not Israelites, that are not Shemitic, or I should say Abraham's seed. Some of them could have been Shemitic. I don't know. I mean, some of them could have been from the seed of Shem, but they were Abraham's seed, right? So these were they were probably cousins of Abraham, right? But they were not Abraham's seed, right? Because Abraham's seed was the Israelites that was taken out the land by the king of Assyria and put into Babylon, right? Iraq. So to this very day, you still got some Israelites that's in Iraq. They're called Afro-Iraqians or Afro-Arabs, right? They're in there. They look like us. Some of them are darker complected than me, right? They look black, and some of them, I can show you some pictures if I had some time, right? Okay, so the king of Assyria took them out the land. So now in the whole northern region of Israel is a whole nother people there. That's not the people of antiquity at this stage of the game. But it changes later on in history. But at this stage of the game, there are people from Babylon that's there. Right? Now remember, King Daniel interpreted Nebuchadnezzar, I call him Prophet Nebuchadnezzar. He interpreted Nebuchadnezzar's dream where he showed him the shift of the battles, right, that would change history, right? All right. So now every nation, verse 20, now go back in again. Every nation made deities of their own. They put them in the house of the high places, which Shimon had made every nation in their city where they dwelt, right? And the men of Babylon made Succoth and Noth, and the men of Cuth made Nergal, and the men of Hamath made Ashima, and the Avites made Nibhaz and Tartak, and the Sephirites burnt their children in the fire to Adremelech and Anamelech, the deities of Sepharvaim. So they feared Yah and made unto themselves the lowest priests of high places, which sacrificed for them in the house of high places. They feared Yah and served their own deities, and after the manner of the nations whom they carried away from there. So, one half of my job is done, right? So we already know that the northern tribes were taking out the land to this very day. And we're going to show you, we can go to Isaiah 11:11, which is going to confirm where they are, right? So let's go to Isaiah 11:11, right? Okay, 11:11. Isaiah 11, go with me. Isaiah 11 and 11, okay? Now, verse 11 says, it shall come to pass in that day, Yahuwah shall set again the second time to recover who? The remnant of his people, which shall be left from who? Assyria. From who? From Mizraim, right? And from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath. How about that? And from the islands of the sea. See that? So now it pans out, right? Because the king of Assyria took him back to Assyria, and we see Assyria in the roll call of where he's going to gather the elect from, right? Now, so you got Afro-Arabs. So you can group all those together and call them Afro-Arabs. In Egypt, you have some in the land of Sudan, right? Okay? All right. Let's continue because it gets deeper, right? We just getting our feet wet. Now, let's go back to my presentation because I gotta bring it to the next level now. Okay, so now we've come to the point where we showed you that the original people of the land were Israelites, right? The original people, Abraham's seed, came from Ur the Chaldees, right? Went into the land. Northern tribe was taken out the land by the king of Assyria and replaced with another people, right? From Babylon, the same place where they took them, they brought other people. And they put the Israelites into those lands, Hamath, and into the city of the Medes, right? Where's the Medes at? Iran. So you got some Afro-Iranians there in the land today still, right? All right, now. So next we have the Neo-Babylonian Empire, right? You can read about this, and I'm not going to go there, but you read about this in what is it, Maccabees? Not Maccabees, before Maccabees. Hold on a second, let me see. Let me give you the right source. You can read about I want to say the book of Judith, right? The book of Judith, okay? You ever read from the book of Judith, right? It's a historical book. Maybe we'll cover this in the next lesson, okay? But the book of Judith, right? Okay, so what happened was the book Neo-Babylon, the first Gentile, because Assyria was Shemitic, right? So now we got the Neo-Babylonians, right, who took over the king of Assyria's territory, right? the Syrian, the Shemite, because the Syrians were Shemites, right? So now we have the Neo-Babylon, the new Babylonian king, who was now a descendant of Japheth, right? He comes in and he wreaks havoc, right, in the land. And he does what? He takes the people that was replaced, including the Philistines, and he takes them out the land into captivity. And you can read about that in Judith. As a matter of fact, let me see. Can I do that? I could do it. Okay, let's do it. Let's adventure to do that. Let's go to Judith chapter 1, right? Okay, Judith chapter 1. All right. Judith, Yehudith chapter 1. So you got to go to, so Yehudith is an apocryphal book, right? 1611 had a book of Judith in it. After King James died, they took it out. Said it wasn't canonized. It wasn't inspired, right? Took Maccabees out, right? These are historical books that show you what happened in history, the battles that change history, right? All right. So let's go to Judith chapter 1, right? All right. Judith chapter 1. Okay, I think this is the verse I want. Let me make sure. Okay. Judith chapter 1 and 1. Okay, good. Very good. So Judith chapter 1, verse 1. In the 12th year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar. Ooh, that's a tongue twister there. Nebuchadnezzar. Who reigned in Nineveh, the great city, in the days of Arphaxad, which reigned over the Medes in Ebentane, and built Ebentane walls round about, stones hewn 3 cubits broad and 6 cubits long, and made height of the wall 70 cubits, and breadth thereof 50 cubits. He set towers thereof upon the gates of it, 100 cubits high, breadth thereof, and foundation 60 cubits. He made gates, even gates, that were raised to the height of 70 cubits, and breadth of them was 40 cubits for the going forth of his mighty armies, for the setting in array of his footmen, right? So you got the Neo-Babylonian going into the land, right? He's setting up his kingdom. He's about to do something to the people there, right? Including the Israelites that's left, right? Okay, watch this now. And he made, even in those days, Nebuchadnezzar made war with King Arphaxad in the great plain, which is the plain of the borders of Ragu. And there came unto him all they that dwelt in the hill country, and all that dwelt by Euphrates, the Tigris, and Hydaspes, and the plain of Arioch, the king of Elamenes, and very many nations of the sons of Calod assembled themselves to battle. Then Nebuchadnezzar, king of Assyrians, sent unto all that dwelt in Persia, and to all that dwelt westward, and to those that dwelt in Cilicia, and Damascus, and Libanus, and Antibanus, and all that dwelt upon the sea coast, and those among the nations where the Carmel and Galaad, and the higher Galilee, and the great plain of Estron, right? Okay. And to all that were in Samaria, and the cities thereof, and beyond Jordan to Jerusalem, and Bethane, and Kelus, and Cades, and the river of Egypt, and Taphanes, and Ramesses, and all the land of Gesem, until he came beyond Tanis and Memphis, and to all the inhabitants of Egypt, until you come to the borders of Ethiopia. But all the inhabitants of the land made light of the commandment of Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Syrians, neither went they with him to battle, for they were not afraid of him. Yeah, he was before them as one man, and they sent away his ambassadors from without effects with disgrace. And therefore Nebuchadnezzar was very angry with all this country, and swore by his throne and kingdom that he would surely be avenged upon those coasts of Cilicia, Damascus, Syria, and that he would slay with the sword all the inhabitants of the land of Moab, the children of Ammon, and all, underline all, Judea, and all that were in Egypt, Mizraim, till he come to the borders of the two seas. Then he marched in battle array with power against King Arphaxad in the 17th year, and he prevailed in his battle, for he overthrew all the powers of Arphaxad and all his horsemen and his chariots, and became master of his cities, and came unto Ecbatane, and took the towers, and spoiled the streets thereof, and turned the beauty therefore into shame. He took also Arphaxad in the mountains of Ragu, and smote him through with his darts, and destroyed him utterly that day. So he returned afterwards to Nineveh, both he and all his company of sundry nations, being a very great multitude of men of war. And there he took his ease, and banqueted both he and his army, and 120 days. Right now, there's more to the story, right? So I want to kind of try to get to the point, but we see the resurrection of the Neo-Babylonian Empire, right? Okay. Of course, after him, he was overthrown by the Medes, right? That's what the vision saw. That's what the vision said, right, in Daniel, right? Okay. Let's see. Let's go to chapter 2. All right, chapter 2. All right. And in the 18th year, in the 221st month, right, there was talk in the house of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Assyrians, that he should, as he said, avenge himself on all the earth. So he called unto him all his officers and his nobles, and communicated with them his secret counsel, and concluded the afflicting of the whole earth out of his own mouth. Then he decreed to destroy, watch this now, all flesh that did not obey the commandment of his mouth. And when he had ended his counsel, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Assyrians, called Holofernes, the chief captain of his army, which was next unto him, and said to him, watch this now, thus says the great king, the master of the whole earth. Oh man, he put himself in the place right there. He said, the master of the whole earth. Thus said the king, the master of the whole earth, right? He said, thus saith the king, the master of the whole earth. Behold, thou shalt go forth from my presence, and take with thee men that trust in their own strength, a footman, and 120,000, and a number of horses, which their riders 12,000. And thou shalt go against all the west country, because they disobeyed my commandments. This is the king talking now. And thou shalt declare unto that they prepare for me earth and water. For I will go forth in my wrath against them, and will cover the whole face of the earth with the feet of my army, and I will give them for a spoil unto them. Right? Verse 8. So that their slain shall fill their valleys, the brooks and the rivers shall be filled with the dead till it overflow. And I will lead, watch this now, verse 9. I will lead them captives. I will lead them captives unto the uttermost parts of the earth. So now we go from the Babylonian king to the Neo-Babylonian king, who's a descendant of Japheth. Now he's going to take all those people, right? He's going to take them captives, right? Into all the parts of the earth. Let's continue. And thou therefore shalt go forth and take for me all their coasts. If they will yield themselves unto thee, thou shalt reserve them for me till the day of their what? Punishment, right? All right, verse 11. But concerning them that rebel, let not my eye spare them, but put them to the slaughter, and spoil them wheresoever you go. For as I live, and by power of my kingdom, whatsoever I have spoken, that will I do by my hand. And take thou heed that thou transgress none of the commandments of thy master, which he's talking about himself, right? But accomplish them fully as I have commanded thee, and defer not to do them. Then Holofernes went forth from the presence of his master and called all the governors and the captains and the officers of the army of Asher, right? Asher, Assyria, right? And he mustered the chosen men up for the battle as the master, and commanded him unto all 120,000 and 12,000 archers and horseback. And he ranked them as a great army is ordered for war. He took the camels, asses for their carriages, a great number of sheep and oxen and goats without number for their provision. Verse 18, and plenty of victual for every man of the army, and very much gold and silver out of the king's house. Verse 19, then he went forth in all his power to go before King Nebuchadnezzar in voyage, and to cover all the face of the earth westward with the chariots and horsemen and their chosen footmen. And a great number also of sundry countries came with their like locusts, like the sand of the earth, for the multitude was without number, right? And they went forth to Nineveh 3 days' journey toward the plain of Bechteleth, and pitched from Bechteleth near the mountain, which is the left hand of Upper Cilicia. Then he took all the army, his footmen, his horsemen, his chariots, and went from thence into the hill country, and destroyed Phud, Lud, and spoiled all the children of Rassi. So now we talking about these people over here in North Africa, right? We'll show you how even then, right, there was a changing. So even in Africa, North Africa on the end of Egypt, right, the Antiquity, we're seeing the shift of the people of Antiquities even then, right? Okay. The children of Israel, let me back up here. He destroyed Phud, Lud, and spoiled the children of Ramses, I think that's Ramses, and the children of Israel, which were toward the wilderness at the south of the land of Chelians, right? Then he went over Euphrates and went through Mesopotamia and destroyed all the high cities that were upon the river Arbonne till he come to the sea. He took the borders of Cilicia and killed all that resisted him, and came to the borders of Yephath, underline Yephath, which were towards the south and over against Arabia. He compassed also the children of Midian and burned up their tabernacles and spoiled their sheepcotes. Then he went down into the plain of Damascus, right? That's Syria, in the time of wheat harvest, and burnt up all their fields and destroyed their flocks, their herds, and spoiled their cities, and utterly wasted their countries, and smote all their young men with the edge of the sword. Therefore, the fear and the dread of him fell upon all the inhabitants of the seacoast, which were in Sidon, right? Tyrus, they go Sidon and Tyre, and them that dwell in Sur and Osina, and all that dwelt in Yemen, that's Yemen, right? And that dwelt in Asatos and Ascalon, right? That's in that Gaza area. They feared him greatly, right? Okay. So now we see the people going out of the land, being judged, right? By this king. Okay, now let's go to the next chapter and then we'll get back to our spreadsheet. So let's go to chapter 3. Let's wrap it up here. All right, chapter 3. This is Judith chapter 3 now. All right. So they sent ambassadors unto him to treat for peace, saying, behold, we are the servants of Nebuchadnezzar, the great king, lie before thee. Use us as shall be good in thy sight. Behold, our houses and our places and our fields of wheat and flocks and herds and all the lodge and our tents lie before thy face. Use them as it pleased thee. Behold, even our cities, right, and our inhabitants thereof are thy servants. Come and deal with them as seem good unto thee. So the men came to Holofernes and declared unto him after this manner. Then came he down towards the sea coast, both he and his army, and set garrisons in the high cities, and took out of them chosen men for aid. Verse 7. So they all the country round about received them war garlands and dances with timbrels. Verse 8. Yet did cast down their frontiers and cut down their groves, for he had decreed to destroy all the deities of the land, that the nation should worship Nebuchadnezzar only, and that all the tongues and tribes should call upon him as deity. And he came over against Esardralon near unto Judea, over against the great strait of Judea, and pitched between Geba, Scythophilus, and there he tarried a whole month, that he might gather together all the carriages of his army. Right? So we can see that this Neo-Babylonian empire now takes over. And so now the people that were in the land, those Babylonian people, right? He slew them, slain them, right? And he made them slaves and took them out the land, right? Which left the land wide open, which leads us to the next phase in history, right? So let's go to back to my spreadsheet here, back to my PowerPoint here, and we go to the next group of people. Okay, so now we go from Neo-Babylon to Persian, right? To Persian. Now, I'm not going to go ahead to read, because I'm going to try to expedite it a little bit so we can get down to the nitty gritty, right? All right, so now we know that we went from Babylon. He was overthrown by the Neo, right? Babylonian rulership, right? Which came under the sons of Japheth. And then, then from this point forward, that whole land was now governed by Gentiles, sons of Japheth. That's who the Gentiles are. Gentiles are sons of Japheth, right? Just in case you're not clear, because we know some Israelites believe Gentiles, this will be the Israelites, right? So let's just kind of clear that up real quick, right? So go to Genesis chapter 10, right? Genesis chapter 10, all right? Verse 6. Okay, Genesis chapter 10, verse 6. We're going to get back in. All right, Genesis chapter 10, verse 6. Let's start at verse 2. The sons of Japheth are Gomer, Magog, Maddah. So Maddah is Medes, Yavan, that's Greeks and the Spanish and the Romans, Tubal, Meshach, and Tyrus, right? And the sons of Gomer are Ashkenaz. So you got Gomer, you got Ashkenaz, Ashkenazim, and Riphath, and Togarmah. Sons of Yavan, Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim is Rome, and Dodanim, right? By these were the who? The isles of the Gentiles divided. So these are the Gentiles that are ruling now from this point forward. So the ruling class at this point, from this point in history, are now Japhetic. Okay? Now, these particular clans of Japhetic still have a little Melanization in them, so they didn't look like the Europeans from England at this particular facet in history, but they were still people of color. Okay? Now, with that said, let's continue. Let's go back to the spreadsheet here. All right. So we go from the Neo-Babylonians to now Persians under Cyrus, right? He conquers Babylonian Empire and Jerusalem, right? Then we go from there to Alexander, right? In 332 AD, we got Alexander comes in on the scene. That we can read about that in the book of Maccabees. So let's go to Maccabees real quick, and let's just kind of top it off right there. First Maccabees chapter 1, right? And it happened after Alexander, son of Philip Macedonian, who came out of the land of who? Kittim, and had smitten Darius, the king of who? The Persians and Medes. How about that? How about that for prophecy being fulfilled, right? That when Daniel interpreted King Nebuchadnezzar's dream, he said, oh, you're going to be overthrown by the Medes and the Persians, right? I got to show you something real quick, and we're going to get back to that, but I want to show you this thing, right, where he said the Persians, he said his kingdom will be taken in Daniel. Okay, let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay. Let's see. Can I find it real quick? Hold on a second. Hold on real quick. I'm going to get it real quick. Father, help me get it. Okay. All right, let's see. It's Daniel. Somebody help me out. Somebody help me out. Where is that? I want to read where the handwriting on the wall. Okay, that Daniel, what is that? What chapter is that? Daniel, somebody help me out. Daniel, what is that? Which chapter is that? Okay. Okay. Many Parson, right? Wait a minute. Hold on a second. It's right there. I'm right there. Okay, here it is. Okay, 5. It's Daniel 5. Okay, good. Daniel 5. Got it. Okay. All right. So Daniel 5, real quick. So let's see where we at here. The king, Daniel brought the king. Okay, so we went here. It said okay, let me see. This is great by Babylon. Where okay, let's just read this part. I wanted to get up to where it says. So Daniel 5. So he says, okay, Daniel. It says this is verse 26. It says, and this is the interpretation of the thing. He says, many Yah have numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Tekel, thou are weighted in the balances and are found wanting. And Paris, thy kingdom is divided, right? And given to the Medes and Persians, which is what we just read in Judith, right? The Medes and the Persians, right? Okay, now let's go back to Maccabees, right? Maccabees 1. So now we got the Greeks on the scene, right? So here's the Greeks. What happened after Alexander, son of Philip of Macedonia, who came out of the land of Chittim and had smitten Darius, king of Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead and first over Greece. He made many wars and won many strongholds, slew the kings of the earth, and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils in many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. So what happened to him? He got exalted and lifted, right? And so I think at age 30, 33 or 36, he was taken out. He got sick and died, right? Okay, let's go back to our timeline. Okay, now, so we have the Greeks, right? And then after the Greeks, go back to Maccabees and continue reading. You see his kingdom was divided into his 4 generals. So you got the from 321 to 141 BC, you got the Ptolemies and Seleucids, right? Then all the way from 300, right, to the Roman, you have what? In between there, you have what? Carthage, you have what? Hannibal in there. They left that part out, right? It's called the Punic Wars, right? So that part of history is left out. So you got Hannibal in there. He was a Carthaginian, a black man still, right? He wasn't an Israelite, but he was a melanated Afro-Asiatic man, right? Let's continue. So then you went from there to Rome. The Roman general Pompey captures Jerusalem, right? So now we all know what happened there, right? So when the Romans came into the land, the Messiah said, let's go to Luke chapter 21, 24. We're tying it together now. So let's go to Luke chapter 21 and 24. Go to Luke chapter 21, we at 21 and 24. So we go to Luke, see Matthew, Mark, Luke. Where's Luke at? Okay, Luke, let's blow it up. Okay, let's go to Luke 21 and 24. Okay, so Luke 21, 24, it says, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive to all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Bam. So what are we seeing here? Now we're seeing the southern kingdom going out the land, right? The northern kingdom going out the land, right? Taken out. Then a new group of people came in the land, and then the king of Neo-Babylon and Medes and Persians took them out the land, and now a new people in the land, right? In the land called Palestine or Philistine, right? We're not done. We're going to show you who those people are today, and when we're done, we're going to see that we've been lied to in their own historical record, right? Let's continue, right? All right, so he said that Jerusalem will be trodden down by the Gentiles. So we've already concluded that the Gentiles are the sons of Japheth. So that means that the Europeans, right? Those people that are descendants of Japheth are the ones that have been trodden down Jerusalem since 70 AD. Y'all ain't gonna talk to me. All right? We're reading the scripture. This is not anti-Semitic. We're reading history. So if anybody's anti-Semitic, it must be the historians, because they're telling you what happened. The Bible was telling you what happened to the people that was the people of antiquity in the land was taken out the land, the northern kingdom first, and then the southern kingdom was led captive into all nations. But you say pray for Israel. We should pray for all people. You don't hear people saying, oh, pray for the African American Negroes in the hood is getting shot, getting killed, right? It's more people getting killed in American cities from a week to week basis. But you never hear nobody never hear Christians say, oh, pray for the killing that's going on in American streets of the black neighborhoods. They don't say that. Right? Black lives don't matter. All right. So he said they shall be led captive into all nations, and Jerusalem will be trodden down by the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So who's trodden down Jerusalem? The Gentiles. Right? Now, let's go in a little further here. Okay, so we see that. So 70 AD, we see the Romans. The Romans came in the land, right? And did you all see my little thumbnail of this lesson? That was Godfrey Bullion. That's a rare picture, and it shows who he was besieging, right? Because Israel went back to the land, snuck back over there. Some of the ones that was fled into Egypt, went back after they thought it was safe. Here comes Godfrey Bullion. We'll get to that part in a minute. All right. So we see the Romans took over, and this was BCE. So I kind of jumped ahead of myself. So this was BCE. Roman Pompey comes, besieges Jerusalem, captures Jerusalem. From that time forward, they would have Herod, the Edomites, rule. So now we got Edomites ruling in the land. This is prior to Luke 21:24. I should have said this at first, okay? We got Edomites ruling in the land, right? So how did Edom get there, right? When the king, if you notice, in all those captivities, the king didn't go down to Edom and bring the Edomites in captivity, but he went to Israel and brought the Israelites, and he brought the Philistines and all the people in the north regions in captivity, but he didn't do nothing with the Edomites. So what happened with the Edomites? Right? Obadiah says that, right? Now, let's go to Obadiah real quick, right? We're going to break it down a little further. Let's go to Obadiah chapter 1. One chapter in Obadiah, right? Go to Obadiah chapter 1. Bam. Obadiah, where we at? The vision of Obadiah, thus says Yah concerning Edom, underline Edom. We have heard a rumor from Yah, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathens, right? Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the cleft of the rock, whose habitation is high, that says in thy heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Now, that's not talking about the eagles landed, putting the flag, U.S. flag on the moon. That's the craziest doctrine I've ever heard. That's funny, though. The eagle has landed. The eagle has landed. See, Esau planted his star on the moon. No, that's not talking about the astronauts going into the moon. That's crazy, right? Let's continue. If thieves come to thee, robbers by night, thou art cut off. Would they not have stolen till they have enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they have left some grapes? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are the hidden things sought up? All the men, here it is, of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Shall I not say in that day, says Yah, even destroy the wise men out of Edom and understanding out of the mount of Esau, and the mighty men of Otaman shall be dismayed to the end that everyone of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. For the violence against your brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee and shall be cut off forever. In the day that thou stood on the other sides, in the day the strangers carried away his captive forces, foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. How about that? So most people never read this part here. But in the day that you stood on the other side, right? In the day when the strangers carried away captive his forces. So who carried away the Israelites? The king of Assyria, right? And then the king of the Mede and Persian, right? The son of Japheth, and then the Romans, right? But at this particular time, it wasn't Romans, but Romans later on had their hand, right? And it continued to the toes, right? But let's get back in because I'm going too fast. All right. So the strangers carried away his forces, the foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even you was as one of them. Here it is, verse 12. But you should not have looked on the day of your brother in the day that he became a stranger, right? He became a Negro, right? That's that word Negro, stranger, right? See, strangers in the land, Negro land, stranger, right? That's what Negro means, stranger. All right, let's continue. Neither should thou have rejoiced over the children of Israel in the day of their destruction. Neither should thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Thou should not have entered into the gate of my people. You got to underline that. So we're showing you how Esau got in the land, right? So when Israel was going out the land, now check this out. Prior to Israel going in the land, Esau stayed in his land. Esau had a kingdom way before there was a king in Israel. Esau had kings. Imagine that. Way before the Roman era. He had kings, right? So much for him being so much for him being the so-called white man. He had kingdoms before Rome came on the scene. Go figure that one out, right? All right. So he says, thou should not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yes, you should not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither should you have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither should you have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. So that's how Esau got in the land, right? And so during the time when the Mashiach existed, there were Edomites in the land. Okay? Now, let's continue. All right. I had to go there because we had to show you some things. Now, let's go back. So we see here, we go from Roman Pompeii to now, we're talking about now King Herod in 37 before the Common Era, BCE. And then we have in 70 Common Era, it says the Roman forces destroyed Jerusalem and demolished the second temple. So we read Luke 21:24, right? That's when the Roman forces took Israelites out of the land, right, and placed the children and other people in the land, right? Okay. It says here, the Roman forces destroyed Jerusalem and demolished Jerusalem, and destroyed Jerusalem and demolished the second temple, right? Now, in 135 AD, it says that Jerusalem was built as a Roman city, right? Jerusalem was built as a Roman city. I know that to be true because when I went to Israel in 2009, they have a church called the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, Church of all nations, right? Who's there? The Latins. They there singing Latin, praying in Latin, right? Na, 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 na. Then you got the Arabs in there, but we haven't got to them yet. Okay, let's continue. So we got the Roman forces into Jerusalem, and then 135, Jerusalem was built as a Roman city. So once again, who are the Romans, right? Chittim. Who Chittim? They are descendants of Japheth. Who's Japheth? The Gentiles. All right. Let's continue because it gets better, right? Let's go. All right, now, so from 335 CE, the whole Church of the Holy Sepulchre was built, right? That's what I just said. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre was built. Then, all the way from 335, right? This is where it starts to get more interesting, right? So all the way from 335 to 614, right? So what happens at what happens who can tell me what happened at 325? What happened at 325? Who can tell me? Right? What happened at 325? Baruch Shabbat to your coach, Sherry. Good to see you, my sister. Good to see my sister. Blind Prophet, they removed the apocrypha of us kicking the Greeks out and defending temple, cleansing. That's correct. That's correct. They don't want you to connect the dots, right? Now, well, we connecting the dots now because we're at the end. We're at the end, at the time of the end now. Okay, so what happened in 325 AD? Who remembers what happened in 325 AD? I'll give you a clue. It was a council that happened in 325 AD, right? So it was during the time of the council that the Church of the Holy Sepulchre was erected in Jerusalem, right? So now we go from, that's right, Constantine, that's correct, Cote Visa. Good to see you, my sister, Baruch Shabbat to you. So now we go to Constantine and worship of JC. There you go. Now, so we go to 614. So in 614, we have another group of people called who? They came back. They wasn't there originally. They was building up, and they got built up through Islam, right? Okay. They got inspired by the Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah. They got inspired by the Prophet Muhammad, and they came back. And the Persians in 614 captured Jerusalem, right? They captured Jerusalem, right? And then, so now we have a war going now, right? So we have the Arabs, the Persian, Arab converted Persians, who says, we want that land. So you go all the way back to 539 in their history. Say, hey, at one time we had this land. Let's go back and get it, right? They came back for it, right? Came back in 614 CE, right? Then after 614 CE, then you have the Christians came back in 629. They call them the Byzantine, but the East Romans. They recaptured Jerusalem from the Persians, right? Now, from this point forward, you have what's called, it says now, this leads us to the next phase. So you have 636 AD, decisive battle that delivered the Palestine to the Muslims took place on August 20th, 636. Only Jerusalem and Caesarea held out. The former until 638 when it surrendered to the Muslims, and later until October 640. Palestine and indeed all Syria was then in Muslim hand, right? So now you got from 636 AD, you got now the Muslims, right, being resurrected by their spiritual influence are coming in, and now they're taking the land by force, right, through war, right? Now, so you have the Arab conquest, and you have the Prophet Muhammad that came on the scene and who was the inspiration, but after his death, then the resurrection of the nation, they rose. Persian fell, right? Then it says Egypt, and then it says conquering of the Maghreb and Arab conquest of Now I got to show you. I have another slide I want to open up here real quick. Let me see if I can do it. Now, for those of you that are interested in this this link, I'll leave the link if you're interested. It's from the History of Jerusalem timeline for the history of Jerusalem from 4,500 BCE to present, right? That's where the bulk of my information is coming from on this particular presentation, as well as other books, right? Okay, now, what I want to do is, let's close this down real quick. And I want to go to my Arab conquest. Okay. 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 Now, so we have to say this here. Okay, so now we have to say this here, right? Okay, so the Arab conquest. So from the prophet Muhammad to Hispania, right? Okay, so here's the timeline, which I just went over. Now we're gonna break it down here. This is the land before the Arab conquest, right? You got Sahara nomad tribes over here. Okay. Okay, and then you got over here, right? Okay, so that's before the Arab. You got Persian over here, Lakhmids, right? Western, okay, all of that, right? Okay, now. So Prophet Muhammad was born 570 AD, died 632 CE. He was born in Mecca in Western Arabia, last in line. It says he was the last line of the Judean Christian prophet. Now, this is what they're saying, not me. Received his first revelation in 610. The Muslim believed that the word of Yah was revealed to him by Archangel Gabriel in Arabic, who said, recite in the name of thy masters. That's Surah 96. It says, although Muhammad died in 632, his followers led by a series of 4 caliphs, Abu Bakr, Umar 634, and Uthman 579, and Ali 601. The Arabs conquered Syria, Palestine, Egypt from the Byzantine Empire, while Iraq and Iran, the heart of the Sasanian Empire, succumbed to their forces. Here in these lands, Islam fostered the development of religious, political, cultural commonwealth and creation of a global empire. Right? So when the Arab conquest came on, that caused a whole nother shift to take place in that region. Right? There's more. Okay, let's continue. So in 633 to 651, the Arab conquest began with raids into southern Mesopotamia, followed by conquest of towns and villages, right? So it was during this time where who was down in the land of Mesopotamia at this time? The Hebrew Israelites. They had been there for all them years. So who did the Arabs enslave? Y'all ain't gonna talk to me. Right? Let's continue. So, following the conquest of the towns and villages, they provoked a response of the Sassanian king Yazgared III, who raised an army to confront the Arabs at the Battle of Al-Qasdiya in 636, which lasted for several days. The Sassanian army was annihilated with his victory, and Arabs were able to take control of the Mesopotamia, including Sasanian capital of Ctesiphon. Over the next 2 years, Sasanians attempted to retake their lost territory to no avail. By 642 CE, the Arabs had crossed the Zagros Mountains into Iranian plateau and won another great victory at the Battle of Nahavand. The Arabs' victory at Nahavand sealed the fate of the Sassanian Empire and forced Yazgerd III to flee to the east. Y'all hear that? So they went up into the lands. I think it's Turkestan, or some them stands over there. I can't. But Turks land. Okay. Let's see. Let's go back in now. Okay. So now that's fall of Persia, right? So we're following the timeline. Let's continue. Let's go to the next part. All right. So next is from 634 to 641 CE. It said Levant. The Levant got its name from a French lever, which means to rise. It can be traced even farther back to the Latin levar, which means lift, raise. The term Levant was first used in English in 1497, referring to east or Mediterranean lands of who? Italy, right? Or who? The sons of Japheth, or the Gentiles. See, Gentiles in there. Okay, now, I didn't add this into this dissertation, but in Genesis chapter 10, it says, Genesis 9 rather, when Noah got drunk, it says, Yah shall enlarge Japheth, right? So that name Japheth means expansion, right? So the time of the Gentiles is the expansion of Japheth, or the expansion of the European, Eurocentric powers that is now ruling the whole planet. Let's get back in. All right, so after some initial raiding, the Arab conquest of the Levant began in earnest in 634 CE as the Byzantine armies amassed to drive out the invaders. Command of the air forces was given to Khalid ibn al-Walid, perhaps the greatest commander of the Arab conquest. He led his forces on a forced march through the desert to strike the Byzantine in the rear. In 636 CE, Khalid ibn al-Walid and his forces faced off against the Byzantine led by the Emperor Heraclius, 610 to 641 CE, who had defeated the Sassanians in the war several years earlier at the Battle of Yarmouk. A misunderstood command threw the Byzantines into disorder, allowing the Arabs to win a great victory. In the aftermath of the defeat, Heraclius ordered Byzantine forces to evacuate Syria and establish a more defensible position in Anatolia. Okay, so we're bringing all this home, right? We haven't got to 1948 yet, right? So we got more to come. All right, so we're still dealing with the Arab invasion right now. Okay, just for a little sake of, for a picture, you say Levant, we're going to show you what the Levant is, right? Okay. Levant is right here. See it circled in the red, right? All that's called the Levant, right? And they said Italian territory. So Rome, the Byzantine, took over this territory and they called it the Levant. Okay, now let's continue. Okay. So now we're still talking about the Muslims now, the Arab conquest. So in 639 to 642, the Arab conquest of Egypt was the swiftest and most complete of all their conquests. This wealthy and strategic region was well known to the Arabs. Egypt served as the breadbasket of the Byzantine Empire, as well as being a major source of tax revenue and guarding the way into Africa. Arab forces were led by Amr ibn al-As, 573 to 664 CE, who began the invasion on his own initiative in 639 CE. The Byzantine forces in the province consisted mostly of militia, which was intended for more of a policing role. After crossing the Sinai, the Arabs captured the forces city of Pelusium, right, which had long guarded the entrance into Egypt. Now, where do we see that word Pelusium from, right? Genesis 10, right? Let's continue. Which had long guarded the entrance into Egypt. A Byzantine counterattack was swept aside, and the Arabs marched on a major force of Babylon, located near modern Cairo. Arab victories at the Battle of Heliopolis in 640 CE and Babylon in 641 effectively divided Egypt into two, right? The last major city to fall to the Arabs was Alexandria, right? We know who gave that name, right? Philip of Macedonia, son Alexander. All right. So Arabs captured Alexandria, which capitulated in 642 CE. The Byzantine briefly regained control of Alexandria in 644 through an amphibious attack, right? So now we go to the next phase here. Okay. So we go to now the Arab conquest of North Africa. All right, here we go. Conquering the Maghreb of Northwest Africa, right, from 647 to 709 CE, Arab conquest of the Maghreb of North Africa lasted for the better part of a century and took places in stages. The region was split between two groups, with the Byzantine control the large coastal cities and surrounding areas, while the Berbers held the rest. After a period of raiding, the initial invasion of Byzantine Cyrenaica and Tripolitania, modern Libya, began in 647 CE. Count Gregory, the local Byzantine governor, had declared independence and attempted to halt Arab invasion. Though he was killed in battle, his successor managed to secure an Arab withdrawal in exchange for tribute. The invasion was not resumed until 665 CE, now at the command of the new Umayyad Caliphate. This force was led by Uqba ibn Nafi, 683 CE, who established a city of Kairouan near the modern Tunis as the capital of the Islamic province of Ifriqiya, or Africa, and reached the Atlantic Ocean. So the Arabs, see, they are very instrumental in changing that whole region. So you have indigenous and people of antiquities now being moved around, being shifted around, being led and controlled by all these different sons of Yafeth. Because don't you deceive yourself, those Arabs were descendants of Yafeth. Those were the Indo-Eurasian Arabs, right? Let's continue. So we go to the next slide. Now, conquering the Maghreb or Northwest Africa, 647, continued. It says, however, the Berbers of Byzantine rose in revolt and managed to kill Uqba and wipe out his army in an ambush. The second invasion now ground to a halt outside of Carthage. Oh, where we get Carthage from? That's the land of Hannibal, right? And when the Byzantine reinforcements destroyed another Arab army, right, in 688, the third and final invasion began after the Arabs captured Carthage in 695 CE. Another powerful Byzantine force was dispatched to retake Carthage and managed to hold the city until 698 CE, after which the Arabs laid waste to the cities, discouraged the Byzantine from returning. This was followed by a Berber rebellion led by Queen Kahina, how about a female, right? Which drove the Arabs out of Maghreb. The rebellion was met with brutal force. Kahina was killed in battle, 703, and the Arabs had once again reasserted their authority across the Maghreb. By this point, only the small Byzantine stronghold of Ceuta remained under the control of the Count of Julian. Friction between Arabs and Berbers would continue to ignite until open revolt, as Arabs viewed the Berbers as inferior and saddled them with heavy taxes. So the Berbers are basically, in their eyes, the Afro-Asiatic Arabs. Okay. Now, I have more on, because this actual slide is about the Arab conquest. So I want to get back to Jerusalem now, back to the land. Okay, so he goes way out to Hispania. So let's go back to our original spread. So now, after we go through the Arab conquest, right? So the Arabs now take over all that region, right? They enslaved the people that was there. So now, at this particular juncture of history, the ruling class were now the Arabs, the Indo-Eurasian Arabs. That's where you get the Prophet Muhammad. He was an Indo-Eurasian Arab, right? Okay, in the book called the Hadith, right? It says they referred to him as the white man. Okay, I throw that out there for you Muslims, all my brothers and sisters in Islam. Okay, you need to know that. If you don't have a Hadith, get one. I actually have a digital version of. I had the original hard copy, but somehow or another, I lost it in transition. Right? Okay, now. Let's get back, because we're going to wrap this baby up, right? Proof that the people in the Middle East are not the indigenous or the people of antiquity. We proved that already, but we're going to go a step further. We're going to put the nail in the coffin now. Bam! We're going to do a Judge Judy number. We're going to hit the gavel. What's the girl named Vicky Dillard? Talk black to me. All right, let's get in now. Okay, now, next level. So we got, going back in now. So now we got the Crusades. Okay. Now, I learned this years ago, right? Now, in Christianity, they had Benny Hinn would go around and he would have all these healing services and so forth, quote unquote. And he called his meetings crusades. Right? I said, interesting. Why would he choose that terminology? Crusade. Does he really know what the Crusades is? So we're going to define the Crusade and we're going to say what happened, right? So Crusades. Crusades were a series of religious wars. Crusades were a series of religious wars. I have a link there. I'm not going to pull it up though. Supported and sometimes directed by, the Christian Latin Church in medieval period. The best known of these military expeditions are those to what? The Holy Land. How about that? In the period between 1095 and 1291. So now, let's go back to our timeline, because we got to show you the connection here, right? So now we go from 629, right? The Byzantine control, and then we go to 661, right? Jerusalem ruled by Umayyad dynasty, and then the Abbasid dynasty from 661 to 750. from 750 to 974. And then in 1099, you have the First Crusades. Isn't that something? So we already defined to you that the Crusades were a series of religious wars that was supported and sometimes directed by the Christian Latin Church. Oh, so the Christians was fighting and warring over a land that they claimed that was theirs, ours of the Gentiles. Jerusalem, we trodden down by the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Is that clear? Absolutely, right? So now, the Christian church, and best known for military expeditions, are those to the Holy Land in the period between 1095 and 1291, right? That were intended to conquer Jerusalem and its surrounding area from Muslim rule. So the Muslims and the Christians were now fighting over the Israelite land, that while the Israelites were scattered to the four corners in captivity, now the Muslims, right? And the Christians are fighting over land that didn't belong to them. Y'all ain't gonna talk to me. All right. Now, moving along. So the First Crusades started at 1099. So all from that period from 636 to 1100. So what's that? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Almost 500 years. Almost 500 years. So now you can see through that 500 year period, they had Islamicized the whole land. You go to Jerusalem today, you hear, oh, your okay. That's what you hear when I went over there. I was like, wow, Muslims took over for 500 years. That's all they did. They bowed to the rock in the land, in the Holy Land, right? All right, let's get back now. These are not Ishmaelites. These are Indo-Eurasian Arabs. Okay? Remember, Islam didn't come until 600 AD, Common Era, right? Ishmael go way back. So how can you connect them to Ishmael? Right? Can't do it. Religion have told you that. Those people are sons of Japheth. All right. So now you got from 1099, the First Crusades, they captured Jerusalem. Christians versus the Muslims, they captured Jerusalem. Then in 1187, Saladin captures Jerusalem from the Crusades, right? Then in 1229, the Crusade, through 1244, the Crusaders, or Christians, briefly recaptured Jerusalem 2 times. Then back 1250, Muslim caliphs dismantled the walls of Jerusalem, and the population rapidly declines, right? 1517, Ottoman Turks Empire captures Jerusalem. Oh, the Turks, Armenian people, right? Sons of Japheth. Now they capture, right? That's where you get Armenian Jews from. They converted. They captured Jerusalem, and they go in there and they start practicing the Hebraic rituals that they call Judaism, right? Okay. So you got the Ottoman Turks, 1517. So from 1517 all the way to 1917. How many years is that? 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So for 400 years, now you got Ottoman Turks practicing whatever they practice. Some of them were Muslims. Some of them were practicing Judaism. Some of them were practicing Christianity. Right? You had all that in the land. Right? From 1517 all the way to 1917. That's 400 years. Right? Where were the Hebrews at? Right? Being shifted from Negro land into the Four Corners. Another diaspora, right? Okay. So you got 1917. Now, World War I takes place. You got the British, the 10 toes. So remember now in Daniel's vision, the interpretation of the vision of Nebuchadnezzar, he saw the two arms, right? Or the two legs, I should say, west and east, papal west and east. And then he saw the toes. So these toes, this signifies the 10 barbaric tribes of Europe, also known as white people. Okay? So it was the terrible of the nations, warring and fighting and battling. And now, there's no one there in the land. We recaptured the land through war. So what? Guess what's going to happen now? 1948 comes along. Right? 1948, State of Israel established. Right? State of Israel established. Now, when they got into the land, right, there was people already living there. Many of them were some of the remnant of the house of Israel was there. Some of them were Canaanites were there. Some were actual original Ishmaelites, Moabites, and Ammonites, the residue, because remember through the wars, a lot of them were taken out the land by those captors, right? So in 1948, when they went into the land, there's a book, I think the author is something about the General's Son. I think it's called The General's Son. He has pictures and things that he shows where when they went to Israel, how they had destroyed, had blew up places and kicked people out, right? And so the same war zone Israel has always been a war zone, as we can see through this presentation. So today is no different. But the people that's there now, as I have shown through this presentation, and you might need to go back and review it again, but I kind of didn't hit all my points, but I think I should have hit enough to kind of bring clarity to see that the people there are not the people of antiquity. Let me close with this. I have tons and tons more spreadsheets, not spreadsheets, slides. Y'all know I do finances, so spreadsheets on my mind. So what I want to do is I want to close with this here, right? Let's close with, so we proved that the people in the Middle East is run and controlled by the ruling class, right? And so that's number one. I do want to read a prophecy from Jeremiah. So let's see. Let's go to Jeremiah 22 and 6 through 10. Let's read that real quick as we wind down. Okay, Jeremiah 2, Jeremiah 22, I should say. 22 and 6 through 10. For thus says Yah. Let's put that into my Restored Names version. I don't like the Lord and the gods. Okay. We got delivered from the lords and the gods. Okay, what did I say? Verse 6. For thus says Yah unto the king's house of Yehuda, thou art Gilead unto me, and the head of Lebanon. Yet surely I will make thee a wilderness, and cities which are not inhabited, and I will prepare destroyers against thee, everyone with his weapons, and they shall cut down the choice cedars and cast them into fire. And many, underline many, and many nations shall pass by this city, right? So prayerfully, we've seen that. Many nations have passed by this city. And they shall say, every man to his neighbor, wherefore have Yah done this into this great city, right? So everybody's up for grabs, grabbing all those nations, the prophet, the vision that Daniel saw, right? All these nations, right, coming after that land. Why do they keep taking the people out the land? Why do they just leave them there and make them slaves? No, we want the land because the land was good land, right? Especially that land by the coast, right? All right, let's continue. All right. Then they shall answer, because they have forsaken the covenant of Yahweh, their Elohim, and worship their other Elohim and serve them. Weep ye not for the dead, neither bemoan him, but weep sore for him that goes away, for he shall return no more, nor see his native country. That's why you so-called Negroes haven't been back there to see the land. Now you have a few of us that have stepped foot there, but generally speaking, as a whole, we've never seen the land, right? Now, let's continue with, I want to read, let's see. So we did Jeremiah 21. We read 1 Kings 9 last week. We already read Luke 21, 24. Let's do 21. Let's go to Jeremiah 21 and 1 through 10. All right, real quick. Jeremiah 21. Okay, you can go back and let's read it. Okay. What did I say? Jeremiah 21 and 1 through 10. Okay, all right. I don't really want to read that much. Let's see. Let's start at verse 4. Thus saith Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, behold, I will turn back the weapons of war that are in your hands, wherewith you fight against the king of Babylon and against the Chaldees, which besiege you without the walls. And I will assemble them in the midst of your city, midst of this city, right? And I myself will fight against you with outstretched hand and with strong arm, even in anger and in fury and with great wrath. And I will smite the inhabitants of this city, both man and beast. They shall die in great pestilence, right? Afterwards, says Yah, I will deliver Zedekiah king Yehuda and his servants and the people and such as are left of this city from the pestilence and from the sword and from the famine into the hand of Nebuchadrezzar, king of Babylon, and into the hand of their enemies and into the hand of those that seek their life, and he shall smite them with the edge of the sword. How about that for Luke 21, 24? They shall fall by the edge of the sword, and he shall not spare them, neither have pity nor have mercy. Now remember, this predates Luke 21. He's saying he shall die, shall be taken by the edge of the sword, right? And unto this people thou shalt say, thus says Yah, behold, I set before you the way of life and the way of death. Where did we read that at? Deuteronomy 30, right? He that abideth in the city shall die by the sword and by the famine and by the pestilence, but he that goes out and falleth to the Chaldeans that besiege you, he shall live, and his life shall be unto him for a prey, right? For I have set my face against this city for evil and not for good, says Yahuwah. It shall be given into the hand of the king of Babylon, that's the Neo-king we just read about in Judah, and shall burn it with fire. Okay, that's it there. Now, let's go a little further as we come to the climax of this lesson. We've gone a little over. It's 11:30. Okay. Let's go to now. The second point I said was true descendants of Yaakov are still being oppressed by the enemies of Yahuwah, and we will investigate. Okay, so let's look at Lamentations 2 and 9, right? Lamentation. Matter of fact, we read Deuteronomy 32:21. Let's read that first. We read that last week. Let's read it again. Deuteronomy 32 and 21. Okay. Deuteronomy 32:21. So let's go up here. Deuteronomy 32 and 21. 32:21. All right. Okay. What does this say? They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not Elohim. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. There goes your anger, right? So the Most High said that, verse 22. For a fire is kindled in my anger and shall burn into the lowest hell and shall consume the earth with her increase and set on fire the foundations of the mountains. And I will heap mischiefs upon them. I will spend my arrows upon them. They shall be burnt with hunger and devoured with burning heat, with bitter destruction. I will also send the teeth of beasts upon them, with the poisonous serpents of dust, and the sword without terror within shall destroy both young man and virgin, the suckling also with the man of gray hairs. I said, I will scatter them into the corners, and I will make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. Bam! That's why you don't remember who you are, because the Most High said it. He said it. And when he said it, that's it. Right? Nobody can explain to you why you can't remember where you came from. The prophet said it. He said, I will scatter them into the corners. I will make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. Right? Now, in Lamentations, he says it like this. Go to Lamentations 2, right? So Lamentations 2, right? All right. Lamentations 2. Okay. And let's start at verse 1. How have Yah covered the daughter of Zion with the cloud in his anger, and cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Israel, and remembered not his footstool in the day of his anger? Yah have swallowed up all habitations of Yaakov, and have not pity. He hath thrown down his wrath with the strongholds of the daughter of Yehuda. He hath brought them down to the ground. He hath polluted the kingdoms and the princes thereof. He hath cut off in his fierce anger all the horn of Israel. He hath drawn back his right hand from before the enemy, and he burned against Jacob like a flaming fire, which devoured round about. He hath bent his bow like an enemy. He stood with his right hand as an adversary, and slew all that were pleasant to the eye in the tabernacle of the daughters of Zion. He poured out his fury like fire. Yah was an enemy. Yah was as an enemy. He has swallowed up Israel. He hath swallowed up all her palaces. He hath destroyed his strongholds, and have increased in the daughter of Yehuda mourning and lamentation. He hath violently taken away his tabernacles as if it were a garden. He hath destroyed his palaces in assembly. Yah hath caused the solemn feast, Shabbats, to be forgotten in Zion, and have despised in the indignation of his anger the king and the priest. Yah hath cast off his altar. He hath abhorred his sanctuary. He hath given up into the hand of the enemy the walls of her palaces. Look at that. They have made a noise in the house of Yah, as in the day of solemn feast. Yah hath purposed to destroy the wall of the daughter of Zion. He hath stretched out a line. He hath not withdrawn his hand from destroying. Therefore he made the rampart and the wall to lament. They languish together. Her gates are sunk into the ground. He hath destroyed and broken her bars. Her king and her princes are among who? Among the Gentiles. Who are they among? The Gentiles. And the law is no more. Pass the pork chops, brother. Get some chitterlings there, right? Among the Gentiles, the law is no more. So what? The Roman Catholic Church, 325 AD, the guys worshiping white Jesus, told you don't have to follow the law, just believe in Jesus and everything gonna be all right. And we sing songs like, He is all our righteousness, I stand complete in Him and worship Him, right? While they benefit off of our disobedience. Oh my. Somebody don't like me now. All right. So her princes are among the Gentiles. The laws no more. The prophets, the preachers find no vision from Yah. They don't have no vision. Emotionalize you. They turn on that. Let me see. Where's my praise? Where's the praise? They turn on that music and they emotionalize you, get you feeling good. Gotta get you feeling good. There you go in that pocket. I gotta pull out that I gotta sow that seed off and bam! Right? They had no vision. The prophets have no vision. They have no vision. The prophets have no vision, right? The prophets have no vision, right?
I wonder what the Christian thinks he was reading.
That's just it's the Andrea. The Christians, they got y'all indoctrinated, right? You know, you catching a bus to church and all of that, right? The law is no more. You're not under the law now. All you got is that emotional. Got the head going. Hey! That's all you got. The law is no more. All you got is an emotional fix, right? Car broke down, right? You can't afford to get to work. All of that, right? You know, Yah's law. Yah's law tell you how to operate, how to walk in financial blessings, and how to provide for your home, how to be saved. But you want to have a feeling. Woo! Thank you. Thank you. Right? That's what you want. Y'all say I got more for you, but you want that feeling. The law's no more. All right. I had enough fun. All right. Have mercy. Okay. Now, so the law is no more, right? The prophets find no vision from Yah. The elders and the daughters of Zion sit upon the ground and keep silent. Oh, man. I wonder why the elders is keeping quiet. I wonder why the elders is keeping quiet. Miles Monroe said the reason why they don't keep the law because they breaking the laws, right? The elders in the strip club watching the girls dance. They can't say nothing about the stripper. The stripper can bring that money into the church and give that tithe and offering to the church because the pastor's down at the strip club watching them dance. Ask me how I know. I used to be in there. I was an ordained preacher in the strip club. How about that? Well, let's continue. It's not about me. All right. The elders of the daughters of Zion sit upon the ground and keep silent. They cast up dust upon their heads. They have girded themselves with sackcloth. and the virgins of Jerusalem hang down their heads to the ground, right? He says, my eyes do fail with tears. My bowels are troubled. My liver is poured upon the earth for the destruction of the daughter of my people, because the children and the sucklings swoon in the streets of the city. You can't get no more profound than that. Woo! Go to Baltimore, you see it, right? Go to D.C., right? New York, Philadelphia, right? Los Angeles, right? San Francisco, right? Bay Area. You find the hood. Wherever you find the hood, you find them what? The prophet said you find them in the streets, right? As Ezekiel said, they're like a wild bull in the net on the corners. You're afraid to go home. You're afraid to go to school. Why? Because the people are quiet. While the Israelites are the ones that's terrorizing the neighborhoods. But you got religion. That's how we do coaching. But you got religion, but you gonna shout right on past the people on the corner, go into the church so you can shout. Ain't got no prophets, ain't got no words from Yah. Nowhere in the world you should have a church in a community and you got drug infested neighborhoods, you got people in there shooting at the kids. It's time for Israelites to step up in their place. Right? When I was in the church, we wasn't having that. I'll be out on the corner with my bullhorn. You're going to get off of this corner with that. People afraid now. They're terrorized by the kids. They don't have no power, right? They don't have no word from Yah, right? I got to take my hat off to one of them groups, the IUIC group that was on the corner where they was in the hood and guys ready to fight them. We need more of that, right? All right, so let's see. Let me wrap it up here. Okay. So my eyes do fail with tears, right? My bowels are troubled. My liver is poured upon the earth for the destruction of my daughter, of my people, because the children and the sucklings swoon in the streets of the city. They are to their mothers, where is corn and wine, when they swoon as the wounded in the streets of the city, when their soul was poured out into the mother's bosom. Look at that. As the wounded in the streets of the city. I didn't know that was in the Bible. That's in the Bible? Absolutely. Wounded in the streets of the city when their soul was poured out into their mother's bosom. What things shall I take to witness for thee? What things shall I liken to thee, O daughters of Jerusalem? What shall I equal to thee, that I may comfort thee, O virgin daughter of Zion? For the breach is great like the sea. Who can heal thee? The prophets have seen vain and foolish things for thee. Right? Turn on YouTube. Everybody's a prophet. I see a wealth exchange coming. There's going to be a wealth transfer. Everybody thought. They ain't hear from y'all. Nobody's saying, Israel, return to the covenant. Obey Yah's law, and all that you desire to have, he has already shown you how to obtain it. No, you want to tell people they don't have to do nothing. Just believe, and money's going to rain out the heavens. You're going to go to the mailbox and get you a unexpected check, going to cancel all your debt. Sow your seed. Put on the back of the check, this is my seed to bring me out of debt. I got plenty more to put in store, right? And you put it in an envelope and seal it, and write on the envelope, this is my faith seed. I used to do that. That's why I could talk about it. Go to the mailbox, sing my little church song. going to the mailbox, looking to see my check in the mailbox. Get there, it's another bill. That's just my seed. Okay, it ain't coming yet. It's coming though. It's coming. Money's coming. Right? No. He said the prophets have seen vain and foolish things for thee. They have not discovered thine iniquity. See that? That's what I just said. They prophesying all these good things. But he said they have not discovered your iniquity, right? To turn away thy captivity. So to turn the captivity, right, we got to do what? See our iniquity and do better. Turn thy captivity, right? But have seen for thee false burdens and causes of banishment. All that pass by, they clap their hands at thee and hiss and wag their head at the daughters of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? And all the enemies have opened their mouth against thee, and they hiss and gnash teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly this is the day that we look for. We have found, we have seen. Look at that. How profound is that, right? This, y'all never read this before, right? He said, this is what the enemies are saying. The enemy have opened her mouth against thee. This is what they're saying about you so-called Negroes. Y'all got that religion down. Right? And they're laughing at you. Right? They're saying what? They're saying the enemies have opened their mouth against thee. Right? They hiss and gnash their teeth. And they say, we have swallowed her up. The politicians are saying that. Republicans and Democrats. They're passing laws, legislation to keep you on the bottom. Yah sent the pandemic. The Most High sent the pandemic. Yah sent the waster to destroy. Whether you want to believe it was created, all of that. But Yah ultimately, because before anything can be done, it has to go through his permission. Why? To cause us to return so that the nations can stop laughing, because in the end, Yah said, I'm going to send those ships. They're going to come from far and gather your sons and daughters, the great harvest. And all the nations are going to know that you are the people that Yah has loved. The politicians don't want to give it to you. They'll turn and send billions of dollars to Israel and Palestine, but you didn't get your 40 acres and your mule yet. Your reparations. Only Yah. He's going to take it from them. The reparations are going to be taken from them. And Daniel said he's going to take the kingdom. Right? The great stone. Right? All right, I got to wrap this up here. Let's see. Where was that? Let me finish this out. So they said we have swallowed her up. Certainly this is the day that we look for. We have found, we have seen it. Verse 17, Yah have done that which he has advised. He hath fulfilled his word that he had commanded in the days of old. He hath thrown down and have not pity. He hath caused thine enemy to rejoice over thee. He hath set up the horn of thine adversaries. Underline that. He hath set up the horn of thine adversaries. So those Israelites that's on the corner preaching hatred towards the so-called white man, It is Yah, right, that has set up the horn of the adversaries against us. So if you want to retaliate against the oppressor, it's our job to say to the Most High, we accept this punishment of our rebellion, right? Now we leave it to your hands to avenge our enemies, right? And that's what's happening. The people of the book are returning to the covenant, and now the elements are opening up. Judgment is starting to take place in the land. Elements, the earth, wind, fire, everything. Warfare, rumors of war, all that's going on. People's afraid, but Israel's not, because why? We know what the book says. At the end, we're going to be regathered back from the captive lands. And them same people that brought us in ships and are going to take us back in swift beasts. We're going back in ships and boats and planes to the land of promise. I'll leave you with this here. There's more to the lesson, but I feel the shift going another direction, so I'm going to go with it. 2 Chronicles chapter 7:14 says, if my people, that's who you so-called Negroes are, you are Yah's people. It's been hidden from you, but now the Most High is revealing it. That's what's going on in the land now. The land is being purged, right? There's coming the great battle of battles that's going to take that land over. It's going to be the end of the war. No more wars, no more in that land. It's going to be over. It's going to be a wrap. And we're going to, Jeremiah 31:31. He said, I'll write my law in their hearts and their minds, and they'll need no more to teach each other, but they all will know me from the least to the greatest. We're going home, brothers and sisters. The Most High is soon to gather us from all these lands and overthrow all the wicked. Yah's going to do it. And those that he raised up that's going to be in the cabinet, he says, thou art my battle axe. And with you, I will break pieces of nations. And with that said, brothers and sisters, that's all I have for today. Pray if you got something out of this lesson. Please like, subscribe, and share. Let everybody know where they can find us, because some people, I run across people every now and then say, brother, we've been looking for you for years, whatever. Well, the algorithms have blocked us. So if you find it, share it. Put it on Facebook. Put it on all your social medias. Just tag all your friends and enemies, because somebody needs to hear what the Most High has shared in this lesson. With that said, brothers and sisters, I'm going to close out. Father, we thank you, praise you for this hour of awakening, this hour of restoration, this hour of reconnecting back to the covenant of our fathers. We pray for every household that's streaming live with us now, and those that feel the anticipation and the anxiety. We pray that the peace of Yah that passes all comprehension shall keep our hearts and minds as we look to you, knowing that all that you promised shall come to pass. We pray that our hand of protection upon every family member, every man, woman, boy, girl, the adult, every child, all those that are weak. We pray that they be strengthened up. All those that have gone lukewarm and cold, we pray that you light them up, set them on fire in this hour. Help us to speak and communicate this word to your people, to let them know that there's nothing to worry about. All we got to do is be mindful that you love us and that you are about to return us back home. We give you praise, give you honor. In the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, we say hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Amen. Oh, man. Hallelujah. Lion Price. I'm going to post this lesson on Facebook. That's it. Oh my. That's right. Get past being offended. Told everybody, Adiah said, praise Yah for the lesson. Andre said, good idea for a title. Hallelujah. That's right. Lion Pride said, we're going to keep Yah's law statutes. That's right. Hallelujah. All right, brothers and sisters, love you with the love of Yah. And all those, we have 30 people in the room today. And praise Yah. Morey Josiah gave us a 2 Kings 18. Yeah. That's true. That's true. Praise Yah for Josiah and Kazakiyahu Hezekiah. See, that's kind of my name, Kazakiyahu and Josiah, Morey Josiah. This is Sherwin. Baruch Shabbat. Sherwin said, rejoice. I like that little church beat. Let's see. Rejoice. How about that? Why I am. So praying for you, elder, excellent teaching. Y'all strengthen you even the more. Told everybody for that. I'm not sure why I am. I have to look and see who that is. Praise Yah for joining us. And Sherwin, praise Yah for joining us. Let's see. Elias Stone, Baruch Shabbat, I missed you. I didn't see you in there. Good to see you, my brother. Pray all is well. Who's this? Marel? Baruch Shabbat. Hallelujah. Good to see you. Did I get everybody? Everybody that chimed in. Okay. I think I did. Please don't let me forget somebody. If I didn't call your name yet, I called Deanna, I did say, right? Baruch Shabbat, my sister. I think I did mention. Okay. I think we got everybody. Okay, brothers and sisters. Maybe we'll continue and do a series on this because there's a whole lot more. I want to do a series called From Babylon to Baghdad and Beyond. And that will include some other things because I have some other information and stuff that I didn't incorporate in that, right? But this book here, the first battle, everybody knows about the Battle of Armageddon, but the first battle was called Megiddo in 1457 BC, right? Megiddo. So Megiddo was the first battle, and Megiddo is going to be the last battle, the battle of battles. All nations down to the valley of Yehoshaphat, right? And the Most High said, I'm going to judge the nations for my heritage of my people whom they have scattered among the nations. The nations got a debt to pay, and they will pay. So with that said, brothers and sisters, love y'all with the love of Yah, and we shall see you all again if Yah says the same next Shabbat. Shalom, shalom, shalom.